Hi, am I supposed to be able to hear? I can't hear on your end.
See this.
There you go. There you go.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, yes,
Uh-oh,
fine.
okay.
And can
Okay.
he see?
Can you see
You
it?
can see us, right?
Good
Yes, now I can
morning.
see and hear you. Good morning.
Okay, good morning. All right, I'll start my announcements over again. Um, okay, good morning again. Deputy Director Kira Kahahane. Today's October 24th, 2025. We are here at the CWRM Conference Room in the Kalanimoku Building, 1151 Punch Bowl Street, room 227. We are here for day 2 of the meeting of the Nominating Committee for the Commission on Water Resource Management. Before we start in earnest and we go through the rules for public testimony, I just want to go through a few logistical housekeeping matters. Number one, because Commission Secretary is at home today, we're filling in. So committee member Antolini has agreed to be the timekeeper for today, so she'll be keeping us on track when we're drawing to the close of the time budgeted for each interview. And we are anticipating some public testimony online today. So this is just a reminder for the chairperson to make sure to ask for public testimony after each agenda item. And commission secretary will be letting me know. So I'll try to provide a reminder if you forget, but just to let you know to ask. And then yes.
Sorry to interrupt, Kara. For public testimony, just a reminder that I don't think we can set hard limits if there is public testimony, so we can strongly suggest that people keep their testimony to whatever time limit.
Okay, thank you. So those are all of the housekeeping matters before we get started. So if you have any questions for me, I will be here keeping things running smoothly in the room. Other than that, Chair Johns, please take it away.
Okay, thank you. Could, I can't seem to find my copy of the testimony that was provided on Monday. So could we make sure, I think it came from Jade Chihara,
Okay,
but I don't have it in my materials here, so
okay.
I could have another copy of that. I don't know if I left it.
Is it in your finding?
Was it in the binder already?
It is highly possible.
It's under B4 in the binder.
Or Juanita Colon.
Oh, yeah.
Just want to make sure I have it. And our next candidate doesn't not scheduled till
9:45, I believe.
okay.
Yes.
I don't think I have it in my
Okay, I'll get you a copy of them.
under before.
It's,
Oh, I'm sorry.
there it
I
is.
do.
There it is.
Jade-
you
yeah,
even have it circled,
Jade Chihara. Okay.
but we forget to.
All right. So why don't we recess until 9:45?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, audio. Kyle, can you hear us? Sound
Yes,
check?
I can. Yes.
Okay, we're gonna use the same protocol that we used in questioning of the previous 8 candidates that we interviewed on Monday. So we will rotate the questions amongst us, playing it by ear if some of the questions are already answered in previous answers to the previous questions. And yeah, so it's like Miley's on.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Aloha. Are we starting?
Hear us? You can see us. Is
Yes.
that right? Okay.
Yes.
All right, thanks. So we are back in session. This is the CWRM Nominating Committee meeting day 2. We've been in recess since we interviewed candidates on Monday, and now we have more candidates to interview today and hopefully undertake deliberations today to decide on the list that will be submitted to the governor for his consideration. So we have, and we're on item B10 of the agenda for those of you that are following at home. And that is candidate Miley Lu'uvai. And before we get started, I'd like to introduce the committee. And I'm Tim Johns. I'm the chair of the committee. I'm former DLNR chair and former chair of the Water Commission.
Aloha, my name is Marian Chow. I am Associate Director of Conservation at the Nature Conservancy.
Aloha, good morning. Denise Antolini, retired law professor and resident of the North Shore of Oahu.
Aloha, good morning. I'm Kyle Duarte. I'm the vice president of the Aina Hawaii group at Commitment Schools.
Aloha, everyone. Mahalo for
Aloha.
having me.
Thank you for staying with us and being patient through this lengthy process. Today, we'll go through a series of questions from the commissioners, allow you to respond to those. And then at the end of that, if there's anything that hasn't been covered in the questions that you'd like to share with us, then we'll give you the opportunity to do that. We will also be allowing testimony. We haven't received any written testimony on your item yet, on item B10, but we will give the opportunity for people to testify online, by phone, or in person. And we'll do that after you've concluded your part of the interview. That sound okay?
Yes, mahalo.
All right, great. All right, let's start off with the questions.
All right, we'd like to start with what is your water story?
And so my transformative water story happened years ago. I moved back from the mainland to Hawaii, and I had been living in the mainland for 7 years. And I was in Makena, Maui, where my family is from pre-contact. And so, big rain. And this is a Kai story. Like I come from a Kai family. And severe runoff into the bay from a major development. Major corporation bought like 1,600 acres of this land in the 1970s, very politically connected, very wealthy, lots of attorneys. And so I actually, I just came home and it just happened like within weeks of me coming back to Hawaii. And I went, I grabbed a video camera. And this was long time ago. This was before cell phones. But grabbed a video camera, videotaped it, contacted the county, gave me the runaround, and just like was out of my mind because this runoff, years of this runoff apparently had blanketed the bay that my family, fished and swam in, killed off like the coral reef. And apparently this had been going on for quite some time. And so, just got it together and just kind of went full lateral and was able to get the county to enforce, require this developer to create mitigation measures to ensure that this runoff didn't happen again. So that is like Vi-Kai. It's the Vi coming to the Kai. And that's kind of my transformative water story, because it began my journey as a community advocate. Like soon after that, Lucy Ann Denai called me up and said, "Hey, you want to join Maui tomorrow? We're doing all kinds of cool stuff." And so, I went on the board of Maui Tomorrow and really opened my eyes coming back home after 7 years regarding like the types of issues that impacted, as you know, Maui Tomorrow, and Lucianne was involved in Navai Eha, which was a big Maui Tomorrow partnership with the Native Hawaiian community. But that's probably my transformative Vai-Kai story, because after that I became a community advocate. I'm not a loud community advocate. I don't jump up and down. I'm like that quiet person who does my homework and like fights with data. I use data, I use facts, and I use actually developers, their own materials when I come to the table. I'm still a community advocate. I live here in Panaeva in a Hawaiian homestay community. And for the past 19 years, we have a farm here. And like every year, we got to go, bring the community together, bring our facts, bring our data. And we have to defend against the type of developments that they want to put next to our Native Hawaiian community. And in the past, they used to do it before I moved here. And so, but just, and that's kind of my transformative Kai Vi story. I became a community advocate. And because of that, I actually developed a specialty for compliance. And so in the last 20 years, most of my jobs have been in federal and state compliance. OHA hired me to bring their grants program into state compliance. My current position with the city and county of Honolulu, I was hired to bring their $380 million grant, create a system for compliance for them. So that little transformative moment in my life actually became kind of part of who I am, and kind of my passion for life and for compliance and for community.
Great, thank you. You've kind of touched on this a bit, but maybe we could drill down a bit more on how you meet the state water code requirement for commissioners to have, quote, substantial experience in the area of water resource management, quote.
Okay, substantial is a big word. And so I think to be honest with you, as a farmer, it gives me some, that kind of experience. I am the president of our Keokahapana Farmers Association. I have a farm. Most of our community, we have farms, or on the larger acreages, they have ranches. And so, and my experience living in this community for the 19 years and as a farmer is really the impacts of climate change on our farms and in our community, and trying to find those solutions because of our limits regarding VI and because of our commitment to our Aina resource management. So working within the community and developing those solutions. And sometimes those solutions are like not good and really sad. And I'll give you an example. I had to sell half of my sheep this past summer because of the limitations, because of the drought here in Hilo. And you guys know Hilo is wet, right? Well, if one of the wettest places in Hawaii is having a severe drought, we're in trouble. And you guys, And so, and that happened this past summer. I've been reducing our flock for years because of the impacts of climate change on my farm itself. And luckily for me, I have a nephew who had just bought a huge place in Volcano, wetter than us, and has 2 great pastures, and my sheep are really happy up there. You know, I still have some sheep and a pet pig, but I've really had to kind of reduce. And if you guys know farmers and ranchers, that's the story, right? I mean, we can only supplement their food for so long. It's really expensive. And so that's kind of my experience is and I think I said it before, it's having the rubber boots on the ground. I don't have like theoretical experience. I just have real life experience with my rubber boots in the dirt experience.
Okay, thank you.
So this may overlap, but you can take another shot at it. Can you give us specific examples over the years where you've had to make personal decisions in your own life that demonstrate your commitment to VI?
And so that was a personal decision in our life. And it was really sad because 2 of my sheep were just about to have babies. And so, but I wanted them to, you know, our sheep to be in an environment that was nurturing and healthy for them. And so that was one personal decision. I think another, I would call it a personal decision, is, you know, being the president of our Farmers Association in our community and looking for solutions to climate change and the limitation of VI, as we applied for a federal grant several years ago to do a pilot project for our community on growing canoe plants that can grow and still produce food with limited water. And we have a 10-acre community site. 2 of those acres are dedicated to our polyforestry project and to educating our community on, you know, how to grow food on our properties with that do not require a lot of water. And so that's been very successful. And we were able to get a federal grant, 2 federal grants to help support that project, and it's still ongoing. So we do ag workshops in our communities all the time. I have a huge series of workshops coming up for our communities, and the focus is growing food, you know, but also how to grow food in this very restricted type of limited environment.
Oh, hello.
Gael, over to you.
Okay, can I skip to number 5, Tim, or?
Up to you,
You didn't do floor.
however you want.
Okay. Okay, I'll stick with number 4 then. Okay, Miley, water resources recognized as part of the state's public trust. As a fiduciary of the public trust, what are your duties as a trustee, and how would you fulfill them if selected?
Well, for the Water Commission, I think the number one duty is to ensure that our VI is protected and it's used responsibly. And it's important for me, and I remember being general counsel to boards and commissions, and part of that responsibility is really coming in very prepared for every commission meeting. And I think we have a former head of the commission who understands that. And I've always told our boards and commissions, your kuleana is to come in fully prepared. You really need to understand what is before you. You really need to develop and formulate those questions so you can get all that information that you need as a commissioner to make sure you're making those pono decisions as part of your kuleana as a commissioner, right? And I mean, one of the questions is, the kahuvai pono, right? You are, as a water commissioner, you are a steward. And you're not only a steward of the vai, but those decisions that you make as a steward need to be pono. And if you don't come prepared and you don't formulate those tough questions to the staff and to the applicants that come in, you're not going to be able to make those kinds of decisions that are really important as a commissioner. And for me, when I'm looking at the Water Commission, right, climate change, the serious ongoing challenges of water, restrictions on water use, my decision making is when you are coming and I'm going to be making a decision, that decision needs to really include how this decision today is going to impact water use for the future. Because we all know that this serious challenge regarding the limitation of water is going to increase every year with climate change. So that's what I think my kuleana as a commissioner would be, is come in prepared, understand what the applicant is asking, ask those tough questions, gather the data, get data from the staff. If we need experts to come in to give us more data, I'm a data-driven person, and then to analyze and put that all together to help be a part of a commission that makes those really important decisions regarding water use that includes the future impact of our decision making. I hope that made sense.
Yes, mahalo.
I have to
Mahalo.
apologize. I just took 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol because I'm sick. So I hope I'm making sense. And it's only Tylenol, but I'm like, ooh.
We couldn't tell. We couldn't tell.
Yeah. Mahalo for that. I think I'll skip to question 6 since you sort of answered 5. Can you describe the Water Commission's duty to Native Hawaiians under the state water code and state constitution? How are those duties fulfilled, and who has the primary responsibility to fulfill those duties?
So I'm a Native Hawaiian, right? And I've been watching the court decisions through the years. It's been really exciting to see. So, the number one duty of the state and the commission under the Constitution and under the Water Code, of course, is to protect the Native Hawaiian customary and traditional rights. And you've seen those cases, very exciting, Navai Eha, excellent decision making. And so, and of course, I am on a Hawaiian homestead. I have an egg Hawaiian homestead. So there's that additional duty to the Department of Hawaiian Homelands, right, to make sure that they have their reservations for water. And I don't know who put that in, but that was really smart because that was put in a long time ago before we saw the diminishment of the vai. And so, and of course, who has a responsibility for that? I think number one, the state, right? This commission. And kuleana is upon the community too, because without the community, we would not have had those profound and significant decisions coming from the court. And so, and I know that from my community, because if we are sitting on our hands and these things are coming through and we are not at the table saying, wait a minute, you wouldn't have had all these decisions from our Supreme Court coming down, and helping to change our policies and procedures regarding the VI. And so it's upon us all, right? The state, this commission, the community, to be on their toes and to come into to question and challenge some of the applications that come before the commission, because without the community, we have nothing, right? Nobody is going to really, the commission may ask, but some of the tougher stuff coming in, we may not even see. And so I think I answered that question. I'm not going to go on and on.
Thanks. I think you covered the climate change issue earlier. So let's jump to the question of what do you see as the biggest challenge and or the greatest opportunity facing the Water Commission in the next 4 years? And how will you help address that as a commissioner?
Greatest challenge, and as you all know, is supply and demand that is facing the commission, right? So with climate change, if we don't have new technologies helping to create more VI, we have a limited resource, and we have high demand. And so I think for the commission itself is to really try to balance, the need and all those applications requesting water against the limited and ongoing limited supply because of climate change. And so I think that is, to me, the greatest challenge. And it's scary, and it creates like heavy kuleana, I think, upon the commission and also upon the department. And then also for monitoring and managing to make sure that the limited VI that we have is not impacted by development, climate change, or other factors. And so to keep an eye on and make sure we can maintain that quality of the resources that we already have.
Okay, thank you.
So once again, there's a lot of overlap, but the next question is 50 years from now, what does water management in Hawaii look like, and what role did you play in its development?
Oh, I'll only be 113 years old,
Yeah.
but I'm sure I'm still going to be around. But 50 years from now, if we don't develop technologies, I'm a tech person. I love tech. And so, I've my last two jobs, I've implemented technology to create those efficiencies and, um, things that we need. And so, if we don't implement technology to help and use technology, and I'm sorry, I love AI. I mean, there's bad side. There is the good side, because you can use technology to help advance your knowledge and to help to create solutions. 50 years from now, my hope is, and if I'm involved in any of it, right, to help to create those technological solutions to address the impacts of climate change, not only on our vibe, but on our aina. And I think that is really important. Unless we can get more rain falling from the sky, which I don't think is going to happen, it's just that's what we got to do. And so, and people need to be more open, and we need to invest financially into those types of resources. I'm looking at, I just received like a big federal grant to build a facility in my community, but part of that federal grant is technology, right? And they are going to, once I build our facility, they are going to help finance, technology education in my own community. And part of that is using technology to advance our farming and growing food capability. And that's the same thing we need to advance and protect our VI, is to create those technological solutions. So when I'm 113 years old, I can see that in the past 50 years, we have developed those solutions and created technologies to either to increase our freshwater resources and advance the protection of the limited resources that we have.
And congratulations on your grant. That's amazing.
Thank you. So I have a few logistical questions, and then we'll give you a chance to give us any final comments. The first one is, what is your availability to travel to the various islands to attend and participate in the scheduled meetings and site visits?
I can travel. I actually work remotely, so I'm pretty available for travel.
Okay. And do you have the continuing capability to participate in online format meetings?
Yes,
Okay. Are you comfortable filling out the required financial disclosure form that is publicly available should you be selected to serve?
yes.
Okay. And then the last one is, do you know if your other affiliations or employment obligations might create a real or perceived conflict of interest and require you to recuse yourself from key votes?
If there is an issue pending before the commission that creates a conflict, I would recuse myself from that decision-making process.
Okay, great. Thank you. So this is your opportunity to give us any final comments that you'd like to share with us that maybe haven't been covered yet.
I just want to mahalo you for allowing me to come. And I haven't asked anybody from the community to testify on my behalf. I think they did it in the first round. And so, and I don't want to bother people, but I think, the Water Resource Commission to me is one of the most important commissions in the state of Hawaii. And you know that. And so it's a huge kuleana. And I truly appreciate your consideration of me as one of the candidates for the commission. And mahalo. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Again, thank you for sticking with us and sticking with the process. Do you have, I'm checking with
There,
the water
Chair,
deputy. Do we have anybody that
there are
would
no
like to
online
testify?
testifiers.
Susan.
There are no online testifiers.
Okay, thank you. And nobody on the phone either, right?
That's right.
No.
Okay, and there's nobody here to sign up. So with that, we'll be done with item B10. And Miley, thank you very much.
Mahalo.
Yep,
Mahalo.
and aloha.
Ahui ho.
So let's recess until 10:20 when our next candidate comes in and item B11 for the agenda. Thank you.
pick out some props.
Okay. Right, so are we back? Looks like we don't.
Yeah, back on.
Okay, so we're back in session from our recess and we're at the CWRM Nominating Committee meeting, and we're on item B11, which is the interview of candidate Jeffrey Pearson. Before we get started, I'll introduce the committee. So I'm Tim Johns. I'm the chair of the committee and former BLNR chair and former Water Commission chair.
Aloha, I'm Marian Chow. I'm Associate Director of Conservation with the Nature Conservancy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Aloha, Denise Santolini, a retired UH law professor and resident of the North Shore of Oahu.
And we have Kaeo online.
Hello, Jeff. Kael Duarte, Vice President of the Aina Hawaii Group at Kamehameha Schools.
Right, so what we'll do, we'll follow the same procedure as we followed in the previous 9 candidates that we've interviewed, and we have a series of questions that we'll ask you and give you a chance to answer those. Looks like you have those already. And then I'm sorry, the AG, did you want to introduce yourself? Sorry.
Good morning, Deputy Attorney General Alyssa Call.
Oh,
Okay.
And just quick, I know there's somebody waiting who was intending to come in, but since you came in from the side, the public member may not realize we're actually starting.
Well, the agenda was posted at 10:20, so it's not that we started early, but if they want to come in, they're welcome
I
to.
think
It's
you didn't
open.
realize you could physically come in.
yeah, when I walked in, the door happened to be open. So
Yeah.
security
So I
breach.
just didn't
Yeah.
want somebody to say later, like, oh, you didn't tell me, so whatever.
So we'll follow the same process, which is we have a series of questions that the committee members will ask. At the end of that, we'll give you the opportunity to make any other additional statements for anything that you feel like hasn't been covered in the questions. And then we'll also take public testimony either online, by phone, or in person. And
It's
then
after my interview.
yeah. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started.
Yeah, been a while. Yeah.
And we'll start with the questions.
Okay,
Marion.
so mahalo for being with us. We'd like to start with, what is your water story?
Okay, my water story goes back since I was deputy director of Department of Water Supply. I brought my resume if you want dates, so I can't remember the dates, but anyway, deputy director, Department of Water Supply. Then if you want to fast forward a little bit, I worked at the water supply as deputy director, as CIP engineer, and then finally as director after I left CWRM. So I was here at CWRM as the deputy director about 8 years ago, and I left there. So I've had, extensive professional experience in water. At one point I was at Maui Land and Pine, and I worked for the Kapalua Water Department there. And we did some work on managing the source water, it's in the news now, the Honokau diversion and the dish system. So we maintained that. As far as being at the Department of Water Supply, we also maintain the source, the East Maui, well, not maintain, I should say, that's EMI, but we were aware of that, and we installed a replacement ditch at Haipuena Stream that provides the water for upcountry. There's 250 million gallon reservoirs that feed the treatment plant, upcountry treatment plant, the Oneida treatment plant. So not only have I just had, potable water, Department of Water Supply, but then of course CWRM, all the activity here. So I think, I've had quite a great life dealing with water.
Okay, great. I think you already answered the question regarding how you meet the state water code for requirement for commissioners to have substantial experience in the area of water resource management. But maybe you could tell us or give us some specific examples over the years where you've had to make personal decisions in your own life that demonstrate your commitment to this precious resource.
Well, excuse me. Some of my personal decisions, I think, were based on me being in the professional the professional area. So those like when we had to make design issues with the flume that comes out of High Point, I mean, I guess that you don't have to call that personal professional, but those were the decisions that were important to deal with the source. At home, you know, domestically, I make personal decisions to reduce or eliminate irrigation at home and reduce water use at home and that kind of thing, the things that we all should do anyway. So I don't know if that's impressive, but I mean, I'm just well aware of water. You know, my wife brushes her teeth and she leaves the faucet on while she's brushing and she gets stink eye from me. So she turns off the faucet. You know, that's a small but personal decision. So, I mean,
Okay,
that's
thank
a good
you.
question, but
Okay, so water resources are recognized to be part of the state's public trust. As a fiduciary of the public trust, what are your duties as a trustee and how would you fulfill them?
well, my notes I put to ensure the public trust purposes are met. Um, I'm not really sure about the word fair, but to meet the interests of the public from all sides. Of course, there's always, when the public trust issues are out there, there's the us and the them. You know, the developers that say and the environmentalists, I'm just using general terms, but the people that want one thing maybe to the extreme and the other side that wants the other thing to the extreme. And I've never thought that anything should go to the extreme either way. My comments when I was at my comments when I was at CWRM is I'd like to say that I would stand in the middle of the river and try to provide support for each side of the dispute. That was my attitude.
Do you want to, I'm sorry, do you want to add anything more about explaining how that fulfills that responsibility as a trustee? Do you want to add any more given your experience on that?
Well, as being a trustee, you need to meet these needs. Let's see, let me reread your duties as a trustee and how would you fulfill them? Well, you fulfill them by looking towards the public trust purposes and trying to meet those public trust purposes. You know, leave the water in the stream, provide water for traditional customary practices. So I think that's the whole idea. You go to 174C and try to follow the directions of 174C.
Okay, thank you. Kyle?
Next question. The commission's motto is Ke Kahuai Pono, loosely translated as the trustee who oversees the rightful sharing of water. How do you see yourself aligning with that motto?
I think I aligned very well. I've kind of talked about how I'd like to stand in the stream, and I discussed about both parties having fair use of the water. I like the term rightful sharing because that's what we're doing. It's rightful is a better word than fair. I think I align myself real well with that. That's what we're here for, you know, to do our best to be a trustee for the public trust water resource and provide the best decisions we can make to meet all the needs of the public trust. Or attempt to meet all the needs of the public trust. You never really get there.
Can you describe the Water Commission's duty to Native Hawaiians under the state water code and state constitution and how those duties are fulfilled and who has the primary responsibility to fulfill those duties?
Well, I think CWRM and the commission may have the primary duties. 173C pulls out the information about Native Hawaiians in black and white. So there's discussions in here to meet the needs of the Native Hawaiians, or attempt to meet the needs of the Native Hawaiians. Since the Great Mahele, that's when you know, the Kuleana process came forth. And with the Kuleana process, again, the Hawaiians should be, I don't know if the right word is guaranteed, but should have the ability to have the water that was provided to them at that time. So I think they deserve probably more than they're ever going to get because of progress and what has happened in the state of Hawaii.
Okay. How will climate change affect freshwater in Hawaii and your decision making as a commissioner?
Climate change is, I think, just generally tending towards less source, no matter where you go. Some people argue there's no such thing as climate change, but I think it's obvious that there's climate change. And with climate change, I think source is being reduced. So that I think it just magnifies the duties and the responsibilities and the efforts that come with this position. The position doesn't change. I think the spotlight just gets greater because if you want to say less to fight for, I'm not trying to take a negative tone, but I mean, there's less source available for the needs that are still out there and probably growing needs. So it's real, and it has to be manageable because you don't have a choice, but it's going to become more difficult.
What do you see as the biggest challenge and or greatest opportunity facing the commission in the next 4 years, and how would you address that as a commissioner?
Well, back to the last question, I think biggest challenge is going to be the reduction of the source water available. I think one issue that is arguable is groundwater and whether it should be it should be, what's the word, under the control of the commission, State Water Commission, or should be under the control of the counties. I was, as Maui and as Department of Water Supply, I would rather have control of the aquifers for Maui. And of course, in the case of Maui, Aquifer, it was an automatic designation due to the use of 90% of the aquifer's sustainable yield. But if those triggers aren't met, I would rather have the control be local control as opposed to state control. But I mean, of course, I'm open to however and whatever is brought before us, and I can listen to all points of view. But so the biggest challenge is that I think I answered that. The biggest challenge is less source and same amount of needs or greater.
50 years from now, what does water management look like in Hawaii, and what role would you have played in that?
Well, excuse me, I think the commission's doing a good job. They have always been short-staffed, so it's difficult to manage the entire state of Hawaii with the staff that is here. So at 50 years, it would be much better if there's more focus, more energy, more money put towards the management of the waters in Hawaii. 50 years isn't that far away, but me sitting here is. So I think it's going to be the same, but hopefully in 50 years, it's going to be more intensely managed. Maybe again, the spotlight will be on water greater because, I've been kind of going on and on about climate change and increase in the needs for the source, no matter what the needs are. So it's going to be difficult, but it's just you're going to have to muddle through the issues that arise, which will be the same ones again, but more intense.
Okay, thanks. I have a few logistical questions, and then we can give you a chance for final comments or whatever that you think that we need to know that we haven't heard yet.
Okay.
The first question is, what is your availability to travel to the various islands, attend and participate in scheduled meetings and site visits?
Very available. I just retired at the end of last year. So one reason I'm doing this is I want to keep active, but I also want to keep my fingers in the water supply and the source water issues. So I'm available.
Okay. Do you have the capability to participate in online format meetings?
Yes.
Okay. Are you comfortable filling out the required financial disclosure form that is publicly available, should you be selected to serve?
Yes. It's not my first time.
Yep. And do you know if your other affiliations or employment obligations, if there were any, might create a real or perceived conflict of interest and require you to recuse yourself from key votes?
No, I don't have any issues that I'm aware of. At one point, I worked for Myland and Pine. I'm not, connected anymore.
Yeah.
As you heard about all my other employments. So no.
Okay. So this is your chance to make any final comments or cover something or follow up on anything that we've talked about up till now.
Well, I don't know if it sounds like, well, I'm impressed by this group here. It's amazing that you guys are heavy hitters. It's a good group, so I'm proud to be sitting in front of you all. When I was here, I didn't get this high level group to do my interviews for my commissioners. Like I said, it would be kind of fun just to be on the other side and still be able to support. I think I have a little bit of, well, I know I have a little bit of background knowledge. I know the staff, the ones that are still here. I'm aware of how they work and how they operate, how they come to some of these decisions. And I think that helps. I'm not too, I mean, I met Deputy, but I'm not too aware, we haven't talked much, so I don't know much about her, but that's fine. I do know some of the deputy AGs. I know Linda's still around and a couple of the others. So anyway, with my experience and being at CWRM for one term, I think I'd be a good pick. I think I could support the commission, support staff here, and support the public trust purposes, which is what it's all about.
Okay, great. Thank you. And again, thank you for your years of service in county level and private sector and here at the state. And for your interest in continuing to serve in this important capacity. We're going to go to public testimony now. Well, we'll take first the people that are here in the room. We have one person. Is that it? I didn't look at the list. Only one?
Yes.
Okay.
We only have one.
We'll
And
take
we do have one
person
online.
and one online. Okay. All right. Come on up to the table and introduce yourself so that you're on camera and on mic. We have that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Aloha,
received a
Chair.
copy of the, if that's the testimony, but
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Aloha Chair,
Aloha.
members of the committee, Isaac Moriwaki, and attorney with for justice. And here in that for justice capacity, I did have the main purpose of showing up today was just to confirm that you did get the written testimony of Julio Navaiha and had an opportunity to review that. And I want to make myself available to answer any questions on that material in case the committee had any, because I also was personally involved and had direct personal experience in the incidents mentioned in that testimony.
And that's the one that was signed by the board president.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I have hard copies here in case anyone needs them.
We got it.
Okay. And yeah, I wasn't intending to elaborate further coming in. Again, here to answer any questions. I want to be a resource. But having sat through the interview, I'm resisting my urge to do a point-by-point critique, but I did want to respond to it, at least one point regarding the public trust doctrine and its legal requirements. And so what I heard was that the public trust doctrine essentially amounts to sort of balancing the public interest from all sides and sort of standing in the middle and essentially splitting babies. And I want to emphatically point out that no. And this displays a basic misconception of the public trust. And then I guess the follow-up answer was, okay, well, then you can also consult the code. And yet the law makes equally clear that the public trust is a constitutional mandate, a constitutional duty, and is independent from the code. And so, yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. And unless the committee has any further questions, I'd just be available as a resource here. I guess in conclusion, one last thing. Yeah, I just find it generally troubling that and this is always awkward and uncomfortable because we work
doing your thing.
we work for years together and have direct experience. It's nothing personal, as you know,
I know,
of course. But this is in a really important trustee role, and it's held to a high standard. And despite the years of experience, I just seems like the questions or the answers to the questions reflect a certain superficial grip of the kuleana here. And yeah, that's the additional insight I'd like to offer in addition to the written testimony offered by the belief model.
Okay, thank you. Hold on, see if there's any questions from any of the committee members for Mr. Moriwaki. Kaeo, do you have anything to
No
follow on?
questions.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for coming down. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, let's go to the testifier on board. Oh, Kapua. Good morning. Aloha.
Aloha, Chair Johns and NOMCOM members. For the record, I'm Kapua Sproat, and I'm testifying today in my personal capacity. I have had the great privilege of working on water issues and appearing before the Water Commission for more than 25 years now, including before Tim when he was chair back in the day and I was just a baby lawyer. So, although I'm here today in my personal capacity, I am a professor at the University of Hawaii's Richardson School of Law, where I direct Kahuliao, our Native Hawaiian Law Center, and teach courses, including water law and Native Hawaiian rights. And mahalo to each of you, NOMCOM committee members. As Jeff pointed out, this is quite an esteemed group, and I'm grateful for your thankless and, in this instance, extended service. But I think your work is vital for Hawaii's water future, and I have great confidence in this committee. In my many years of practice, I have never appeared before a NOMCOM. That said, I do track these things, and testimony in opposition to a candidate is rare, especially at this stage. As you folks know, local style, right? People talk, but it takes a lot for people to actually speak up in opposition, especially in small communities like ours, where you may later work with or even appear before that person. And my point is that I cannot recall a time in the last 25 years or so where an applicant for the Water Commission has generated so much opposition at the NOMCOM level. And that, in and of itself, is significant. The details that were shared in the courageous testimony of practitioners, attorneys, and other water professionals is shocking, disappointing, and unfortunately accurate. It was really the testimony of Huiona Vai'eha that inspired me to be here today and to really join the chorus that is urging you to please not include Jeff Pearson on the list of names that are advanced to the governor for either of the two vacancies on this important commission. This is difficult to do and not personal. Sorry, Jeff, like Isaac, we've worked together for many years, but I felt I had to be here today because our water situation is that dire. And we have, fortunately, many other qualified applicants. I, like Isaac, was in the meeting with the commission staff on behalf of the Deweys in 2015 in the room where you folks are sitting now, when we came to an agreement on how that matter would be resolved. We were awaiting follow-up from staff when the matter was agendized in August of 2016 and fines were proposed. And I know that Mr. Pearson was urged not to move forward with the matter before the agenda came out and declined because the Deweys should have known better. So when this came before the commission, I was told that it was the most testimony that the commission had ever received on a single agenda item, over 800 pages. and the boardroom was overflowing with people who flew in to testify. All the testimony that I saw and heard was in opposition to Deputy Pearson's recommendation to fine the Deweys for exercising their Native Hawaiian traditional and customary rights. I was in the boardroom with everyone else when the commissioners apologized to Auntie Rose and her ohana for the way that this was handled and rejected Jeff's recommended fine. I teach what is infamously known as the Dewey fiasco in my water law class as one of the worst examples of the mishandling and mistreatment of Native Hawaiians by the Water Commission in its 40-year lifespan. And the details are really spelled out in Huionawai'aha's testimony. And like Isaac, I'm mostly here as a resource in case you have questions, because I was there for most of what transpired. And in fact, was aware of Auntie Rose's conversations with David Higa back in like 2003, 2004, because we were working on the case in those early days. Unfortunately, I also want to note that the Dewey fiasco was not an isolated incident. The Hui's and other testimony shine a light on a number of other calamities that occurred during then Deputy Pearson's tenure. In the Hui's testimony alone, they provide 3 separate examples of specific instances that violated the water code. And that's also significant. So those testimonies really highlight the importance of transparency and making the applications and interviews public. So mahalo for that. I'm grateful for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Mahalo.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee members? Okay, thank you for
Questions?
testifying. Thank you for your longtime commitment and ongoing commitment to making Hawaii a better place for us and for future generations. Appreciate it, Kapua.
Thank you, Tim. Aloha.
Are there any other testifiers?
No one online.
Okay, no one online, no one on the phone, no one in person.
So maybe one more.
Okay, just, yeah, circle.
No.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you. This will conclude item B11. And let me just say for the record, I think I wanted to thank those that helped make this process be more transparent. So I think that this process that up to now, and I'm going to need some coaching or some advice from legal counsel, because I'm not sure that we've done deliberations in this manner before. So I need a little bit of input from them. But I do want to say that the process has been very transparent. The names have all been made public. There's been ample opportunity for the public to testify in person, online, by telephone, knowing who the candidates are, and also seeing when we finish our deliberations, what names will go in front of the governor. So although it's a little bulky at times, I think that ultimately it will help instill confidence in how these important positions are filled, at least to the stage when it gets to the governor. So thank you for that. I would entertain a motion to go into executive session so that we could consult. Actually, you guys should make it, not the chair, but in order to consult with our legal counsel on questions and issues pertaining to our powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities.
So moved.
Okay,
Seconded.
all those in favor say aye.
I
All right, thank you. So we will be going into executive session. Thank you, folks. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you all
Thank
for-
you, Isaac. Yep.
Thank you.
All your efforts to get to here.
Do we need to say who's going to be entering the exec session on everything?
Yeah.
You don't want me to be in the executive session.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, Jeff. And go ahead and close the door. Thanks.
Thanks.
So we'll have the 4 committee members, our AG and our deputy director. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
Do I switch? Am I supposed to switch to that other link? Or
Yeah,
not?
try mute yourself on the Zoom and then switch to the Teams.
Aloha ka'eo. Now can you hear me? This is Suzanne. Okay, aloha. So we're just going to wait for them to get on.
Okay, we are back on.
Okay, great. So we are back in session. This is the meeting of the CWRM Nominating Committee. We just completed a executive session where we met with our legal counsel pursuant to HRS 92-5-A-4 to consult on questions and issues pertaining to our committee's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities, specifically with regard to the deliberations around the selection of the list to go to the governor, since this is kind of a new process. So we wanted to be sure that we understood the appropriate protocols and how deliberations should be conducted. So now we are moving into the agenda item on deliberations. We've had 2 days of interviews. We've interviewed 10 candidates. We've also received testimony, which I'll just briefly summarize. The public has had the opportunity to testify on all the agenda items, either in person, online, or by telephone. And we've received testimony from Jade Chihara on item B4 in support of candidate Juanita Colon, from testimony from Jonathan Scheuer on item B11 in opposition to candidate Pearson, from Luke Aloua, sorry, in support of candidate Aurora Kagawa Viviana, item B7, and against Jeff Pearson, item B11. Testimony from Kimo Frankel against Jeff Pearson, item B11. Testimony from Kimberly Crawford in support of Aurora Kagawa Viviana, B7, and against Jeff Pearson, B11. Testimony from Wayne Tanaka against Jeff Pearson, item B11. Testimony from Huia Navai against Jeff Pearson, item B11. Testimony from Makanui Kihara in support of Aurora Kagawa Viviana, item B7, and against Jeff Pearson, item B11. We also had testimony in person today from Isaac Moriwaka of Earth Justice against Jeff Pearson, item B11, and online testimony from Kapua Sprott against Jeff Pearson, item B11. Did I miss any? Okay. I'd like to also offer to those online or anybody here, there's nobody here in person. Is there anyone else that would like to testify and to add testimony and offer testimony to the committee as we begin our deliberations? Do you have anybody online?
No.
Okay.
No, Chair.
Right, thank you. So again, I wanted to thank the committee for their service and their attention as we move through this process. Thank the Attorney General and the Deputy for their support, Deputy Director for their support. It's not been an easy process. We have a lot of good candidates. And it's a new process in that everything is done much more transparently, so which I think is a good thing for government operations, although it is a little new for some of us to go through these processes this way. So that being said, I'd like to propose, for conversation purposes, for discussion purposes, a slate of 2 lists of the following candidates that would be on both lists. So both lists would be identical for discussion purposes and then for consideration to send to the governor. And the individuals, based on the testimony we received, based on their resumes, their answers to the interviews, and anything else on the record, and our understanding of the needs and of the Water Commission going forward, I'd like to propose the following individuals: 1, Moses Haya; 2, Sean Wilcox; 3, Juanita Colon; 4, Kavika Tengan; 5, Aurora Kagawa Viviana; and 6, Dana Okano. And again, my proposal is 2 lists to go to the governor. Those 6 individuals would be on both lists. And I would need a second, I guess, to go into discussion around
I'll
it.
second that.
Okay, it's been seconded. Now we're in discussion. Obviously, there were some of the folks we interviewed. I think that the people on this list are clearly meet the state water code requirement for commissioners to have substantial experience in the area of water resource management, especially in light of how that water resource management is going to be, issues are going to be decided at the Water Commission level. But I'm open to conversations or suggestions of either additions or deletions to those 6 individuals.
I'll speak.
Sure. Yep.
So first of all, I want to echo the appreciation for our deputy director and our deputy attorney generals, plural, who have been helping us, and to the public who's been involved in this process. It's really important to have all that information. The process has been, as Chair said, very transparent. And I appreciate the chair's proposal. I think in my own view, we're looking at the heavy kuleana that a commissioner has to be on the commission. Those of us who have served on the commission or observed the commission know what an important responsibility they have had in the past and going forward. So I think it's been a robust process that allows us to put together. I think this is a very good list of qualified people that the governor will, we hope, have a hard time picking from because they are well qualified. And so I would support this list.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yep, Kyle.
Sure, happy to echo a lot of what my fellow committee members have said. I think it was wonderful to meet and interview this host of really excellent individuals from different walks of life and different communities. So it was, for me, it's wonderful that we had such an excellent slate, and a blessing to have an excellent slate of individuals to choose from. I also support the list put forward, just in the broader context of the needs of Hawaii, where we are as a community, the broader landscape. I think there's a great cross-section of solid candidates for the governor to choose from among those 6 individuals. And really mahalo all the applicants for expressing interest, for the work put into the interviews, for the resumes and so forth. Definitely strong leaders in different facets of our community were part of this process. So mahalo to all. But I do support the list.
Thank you, Kyle.
Mahalo, and I would say also echoing everything that's been said, mahalo to everyone who supported this process, especially going through it in this different way for the first time. It's been, a new thing to navigate, but I really appreciate everyone's input. I appreciate the chair's suggestion on how to move forward with this. And I agree that we're very fortunate to have such a long list of great candidates, and it wasn't an easy decision, but I also support this list that you've put forward.
Thank you. Yeah, I would also like to add that I know how daunting the water issues facing the state of Hawaii are. All of us sitting on the committee are deeply aware of that, but I was encouraged by the fact that there are so many people that stepped up, wanted to help serve, wanted to help us help the state make the right policy decisions. So I'm encouraged that even though we're only sending up 6 names, but that the broader community, we had so many candidates, and that the broader community is really interested in and willing to step forward and help us make those tough decisions and face those challenges. So with that, I'll call for the question. And I think because we have one of our committee members online remotely, we'll do this by roll call. So I'll start with Kael. The motion's been made and seconded. How do you vote?
Aye.
Marion,
Aye.
Denise,
Aye.
chair votes aye. So motion has been made and carried. You have your list. And is there any further business for the committee?
No.
All right. So with that, we'll adjourn and thank you very much.
Mahalo, everyone.
Hello, hello.
We really-
Right, Pale, thank you.
There he went.
Oh, he's gone.